All right, y'all ain't no half stepping with Marcus J is live. We are in the den, the stationary den. A week ago, we did our live show from Brewers Cafe at 1125 Bainbridge Street right here in the capital city of Richmond, Virginia. But we're back home. We're live in the den of Legacy Internet Radio. We have an outstanding show here tonight. We are getting ready to cap Black History Month with two very, very special interviews that we will have that I'll share with you on the other side of the intro. I got a special guest making his Legacy Internet Radio debut tonight. I got some usual suspects. And you're listening to the flagship show. It's called Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. It's live from the den of Legacy Internet Radio right now.
It's about that time to get
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris a long touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
If they lying, then they must be half stepping. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J is live. We are in the building. Be down with us tonight. 804-402-2893. Be down with the flagship show. Heard live from the den of Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all to everybody who is rocking with us right now on TuneIn and on Facebook Live. We'll get you guys in later on. We're not able to get you in just yet, but we'll get you on later on in the show. Thank you to the folks that are checking us out on www.legacyinternetradio.com. Stream us, stream licensing. We got, who else? We got YouTube. We've got iTunes. There's no excuse. We got on demand on the website www.legacyinternetradio.com. So we're thanking everybody who's taking the opportunity to rock with us. You rock with us, we roll with y'all. We appreciate it. Got an outstanding show tonight. We kind of tease a little bit on the other side, but just kind of give you an update of what we're doing tonight. We will have two special interviews that we will have tonight. They're replay interviews that we've done in the past. We're excited to bring back to you. Today is the last Monday that we will have in 2017's Black History Month, and always make sure that we get you guys these interviews for our newer listeners. Our old listeners have told us that these are amongst some of the most favorite interviews that they've heard us do, so we always make sure that we bring them back to you. First up, you will have our brother Dawood Anyabwile. He is a Emmy Award winning sketcher for Cartoon Network and Turner Broadcasting. He also is the founder and creator of Brother Man Comics. He and his family, his brother and others are part of the team that created Brother Man. He's the illustrator. His brother is the author. So if you're a comic book fan, and particularly superhero comics, you want to make sure that you listen to this interview. And we did this a few years ago. We always are happy and proud to bring it back to you. In the interest of full disclosure, he's my cousin, and I'm very happy and proud to have him on the show when he's come on live. He's been on about 3 times. This interview that we're going to bring to you is the first time he was on, so he was happy to do it. We were happy to have him. And then we will have the cousin of Alex Haley. She is a direct descendant of Chicken George, as seen in the miniseries and book Roots. Back in 2000, and I want to say 13, 14, I can't remember what year it is now. It's been a few years, but I was fortunate enough to journey to Henning, Tennessee, where Alex Haley was raised, and I met with his family, his cousin, on the steps where he learned those stories from his grandmother about the old African and his daughter Kizzy and his great-great-grandfather Chicken George. I was fortunate enough to go there, and lo and behold, I ended up meeting a family member who we made acquaintances, and she joined us on the show, and she gave us some amazing insight into the family and to the book roots, the movie roots, and what it was like in the 70s when it was on television, and what it is like for her to run the museum there in Henning, Tennessee, where people journey from all over the country and the world to learn about Alex Haley and to learn about roots and to learn all about family reunions and things of that sort. So it was a fascinating interview that she did with us, and we're happy and honored to bring that to you guys every single February. We're going to continue doing that. But before we give you guys those recaps, we are live right now, and so we have some usual suspects in the room. Well, one usual suspect and one newbie. I'm going to introduce the newbie first, and so he's been in the room and he's had an opportunity to hang out with us. He's a brother of mine as well as a friend of the show, so I want to give a warm welcome to the first timer. My brother Gene is up in this joint. What's up, Gene?
What's up?
How you
doing today, man?
Outstanding, man. It's good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
You slow talking?
Yeah, man. It's all good though, but it's good to see you, man. I when we have an opportunity to have you come in, you've slipped in and out the room a few times, and I know that you listen to us when you're on the road, and I appreciate that. You told me something before we went live that we do something for you when you're on the road. What do we do here on 8.5 on Marcus J for you when you're on the road?
Well, when I'm out there on the road, you keep me awake. For a living, I drive semi-trucks and everything, and it's entertaining to me. And when I'm sleepy and you guys are live, you keep me laughing. You make time pass, and that works for me.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. And if you're in social media, if you're out there on the road, and who knows what country or what state or what island you happen to be on, driving that truck across the waters or whatever, if you have superpowers and you're able to do it, make sure you tell, hey, I'm wildin', man.
Really?
Yeah.
You gonna do that?
I ain't nobody introduced you yet. You don't even exist yet.
I exist.
You don't even exist on the show yet.
Even in your mind.
You don't exist
there.
on the show yet.
Poof.
Can you let me introduce you?
Well, come on, man.
When I'm finished with our brother Gene, who's the first timer, who I'm trying to give his flowers while he's living?
Well, he don't
I
need
ain't
no
going
flowers.
nowhere.
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
No more than back in the truck later.
Yes, sir. Well, I can see it's going to be one of them nights.
Yep.
Well, anyway, you heard him fussing at me before I can introduce him. He is more helpful than you can possibly imagine, particularly over the last 48 hours. Inside, not a joke, inside salutation. I just gave him his flowers. But he is my big brother before y'all. Y'all can have him, but I got him first. Big bro Joe, what up, man?
Ew, what's good, Marcus J?
Chillaxing.
Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful thing.
It's a good day, man.
It is.
It's a good day.
I can breathe.
Yeah, because since we last since we last heard from you a week ago in the den, I don't know how much you want to give them, but you've had some challenges.
Yeah, I had a few challenges. I had a few, but I first of all, I'm gonna say, thank you to, my Facebook fam and my fam, my little sis, my moms, several other folks that's floating around. And people, I'm just, I'll forget it, man. I was in the hospital because the brother ran up on some shortness of breath and some chest pains and things of that nature. So, I had to kind of de-stressify myself. And when you de-stressify, I'm going to use that word, and I don't care what Marcus J say because he looking sideways because he like, I don't know what de-stressify means. It's Joe Lewis word. Yeah,
it don't mean nothing. It's not a real word, and you've been known to just go ahead and create some stuff, and it's all right. You want to create your own word. I'm not going to cast aspersions upon you for doing that. You still my mofo.
Well, to kind of piggyback on that is real simple. Brothers and sisters, if you know you're not feeling well, take the income part out of it. Go to the doctor, because no bill is worth your life.
Yep.
No doubt.
There you go. I mean, that's about it. I mean, 5 minutes into his debut, he just dropped the mic.
Yeah. We can go ahead and go home.
You better pick it up because I got some more I need to hear from you. Yeah, speaking of that, there are two things that I want to get to before we defer to the pre-recorded interview that we had from our brother Dawul Anyabwile, who's going to talk to us about Brother Man Comics. Very excited about that, by the way, out of Philadelphia by way of Atlanta now. I'm not sure which one I want to start with. I'll start with the one from last week before I go to the other one that we talked about. Last week, President Donald Trump had put out an edict that said that you like how I do that?
Yo,
right?
that was.
I always do that, right? Yeah, inside joke.
Yeah,
he put it out there that there were certain media outlets that were not invited to the press briefing. Most notably was CNN, Politico, New York Times, LA Times. They were all barred from being able to participate in the press briefings. And some folks had a problem with that. Some folks didn't have a problem with that. I spent extensive amount of time fighting with folks in social media on that. And some folks on both sides had pretty good opinions. If you've listened to me on this show, you can pretty much guess what I said, but I want to know what the newbie, our brother Gene, thinks. Gene, what you think, man?
Well, one thing about it is like this. We don't like, well, I can't say we. That would be wrong. I don't like Trump. But Trump also has the right to exercise his opinion. The problem comes in when people want to follow his opinion and try to make it right. He's wrong for justifying it's just straight out racist that you pick a culture that you don't like, and just because you're president, you want to exercise it to the fullest of just being prejudiced. And it's wrong. It's not just that he's on blacks. It's not that he's just on Mexicans and everybody. Anybody who's not opposed to him and his character, he's against it. And the sad part about it is, people, you need to realize this. But you put him, just 1 second, bro. People put him in the place because they felt the same. The prejudice. They think that it's okay that it presents that prejudice is alive again. And as far as him banning certain people, heck, can't we have the ability to ban him? Which we do. It's called impeachment. Until you get on the people that you voted in, it's not going to happen.
Right, he ain't getting impeached. Let's keep on going. He's not going to get impeached right now. He's a master of covering up. So we know that already. And you know what? I'm going to be the devil's advocate on this one. Darn, I gotta rock with 45 for a second. And Gene made one point, if he gets to voice his opinion, which he does. I mean, we're in the land of the free and the home of the brave, so he gets to talk. Now, as far as him sitting there and telling certain news factions that they can't be a part of a news conference is kind of idiotic to me, but he is the president, so he gets to make up some of the rules as he go along, I guess, if that's what he wants to do. Under full disclosure, I mean, I would want everybody there, period, just so I can prove a point. But
it's kind of like some people, they don't want some people to rock the boat, because if he rocks the boat, everybody else going to agree to what he says. It doesn't make it right. I don't think it's right. Nobody thinks it's right. But since you didn't let me, it couldn't be me. If you didn't let me in the news thing, that means I get to write whatever I choose. It doesn't make me wrong.
Yeah, I guess.
But
you can write whatever you want to write, but certain stuff is just not going to get aired anyhow.
True.
It's called communism, folks.
But the people that we put in office and in control of that area actually allows that to go on. I mean, besides just blaming our idiotic so-called president, I think we need to blame the people that back him.
What do you mean, the people who back him? Like who?
First of all, you got the Congress who's backing every decision that this man makes, and they try to make it legal. And when they know that, when is enough for people to decide what's morally wrong and to put a stop to it?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of things that are morally wrong that they're not going to put a stop to. I mean, if you don't mind, you and I both were soldiers. There's a lot of things we did that were morally wrong that we did what we were told to do. And guess what? We can't be held accountable. Well,
yeah. Stepping on that one.
Let me jump in here. Here's my thing on President Trump. He's one who has a lot of boisterous things to say when he's in control, but when he's not in control, he's not a very happy person. I think the fact that there's certain news outlets that have been very open about challenging certain things that he's done and said are the very ones that he's got a problem with, and he calls it fake news. And you know, his media people call it alternative facts, which essentially is the same thing. I find it absolutely delicious that the man who uses the media in a way that no one before or since him has such a problem with the media. You know, he'll put certain things out and he'll say certain things that he wants to be reported, or he'll use to divert from other things. That is using the media. But then all of a sudden, he doesn't like how they report on him. Now, I have yet to have someone give me a valid idea of what fake news is. I'll give you an example. I asked, is Russia fake? Because usually where there's smoke, there's fire. And that was the argument that they used when we were talking about Hillary Clinton, Secretary Clinton, who I'm also not a fan of. You have a lot of people who had issue with him talking about the so-called terrorist attack on Sweden when he was giving a rally in Florida a couple of weeks ago. And I've had folks that I've been blogging with go so far as to find some obscure clip of some Nazis acting crazy in Sweden that is around about that same time, as well as some so-called refugees around about the same time. But every piece of research that I've done shows that that stuff was last Monday, a week ago today, and not prior when he was actually in Florida speaking of said things. And so, you know, this is the fake news that we're talking about.
Well, you know, looking at things and listening to what you said, I had the pleasure of actually being overseas for some years. And the way that they ran their country, and now that I really sit back and I look at how Donald Trump is trying to run this country and who his friends are, or acquaintances, or business acquaintance, it actually shows the same pattern. Because I've been in Germany, I've been in Turkey, Prague, I've seen all those countries of how those people protest, how they upset because they even control their media of what they can watch and what they can't, what news can come in and what news can't. And by Donald Trump doing this segment of what he did, he's trying to do the same thing. And I thank God that I've been blessed to be able to see those things and the different views, because I was actually standing in a protest in Grafenwöhr, Germany. Did not know I was standing in a protest. Thank God for iPhones, because I text the guy and it put it in his language so he could turn around and text back and tell me what they were going on.
Right.
They just wanted cable TV.
Right.
To be able to watch the freedom of anything that they wanted.
Right. Right.
And they were blocking that. And so in an order, and any soldier or anyone who lives overseas knows that you actually got to pay for a different, what is it, NCI number? Mm-hmm. So you can get all the American channels, but once they find out you have that, they try to block it.
So that you can't see it.
Yeah. You
communism.
You can't control it. So Donald Trump is slowly sliding his ways in, but yet, you know how people say a kid reaches his hand in the cookie jar?
Yep. But you know, here's the problem with that, Gene, and I agree with you. I'm not disputing anything you just said, because I agree with you. The problem with it is you've got a very vocal minority of Donald Trump. I don't know if fans is the right word. They would have said the same thing about people who supported President Obama. But you got a lot of people who are vocal and saying, yeah, go ahead, Donald Trump. Yeah, even though his approval ratings are right now, depending on which ones you look at, they're anywhere between 38 and 42%, which means most of the country is not happy with him and his performance. And he's got the lowest approval ratings of any recent known president this, 5-6 weeks into the presidency.
But it still goes goes back to the same thing. It still goes back to common sense. And you have to adjust it like this. If two people are arguing, having a disagreement,
Right.
which one can you tell who's the fool?
Well, yeah, the fool is the one that's still talking when somebody stopped talking.
Exactly. So the whole point is what I'm trying to make is this. All those people who are standing up behind him know that the idiot that they got out in front, but none of them say anything.
Well, yeah, they quiet. They quiet now because they won, and that was the same thing when President Obama won. A lot of the people that supported him were a little bit more quiet because they won. A closed mouth ain't gonna get fed. So that's the reason why I think a lot of them are being quiet now. And I think the president is being a big old punk because he don't want to show up to the correspondence dinner because he knows that it's going to hit him hard when folks show up there because he's going to have to face a lot of the stuff. This is a dude that's skin is too thin to deal with Saturday Night Live. So I know the correspondence dinner with roast folks.
And he just can't blow up on people because not everyone is going to take it.
Yeah.
People try to respect him because they want to say he's the president.
Yeah.
But you also have to look back in history. Not too long ago, unfortunately, when they used to refer to Obama, they would never say President Obama. That was a straight insult. And the first thing he gets there, oh, Mr. President Trump. Really? Now you can't give the same courtesy, but you expect us to give him all the courtesy. You can't do that because he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, I think, with American people, that we know that we have a president that does not deserve it because he didn't even pass the point of the security of what you're allowed to be a president.
And he hasn't even shown us his taxes. And he's such a bully. He's got a lot of his minions actually saying, well, why do I need to see his taxes? These are the same people who wanted to see Barack Obama's birth certificate. Go figure on that one. And have Stable Marcus J live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. We got so much to get to tonight. I'm going to have to cut that piece short. I wanted to do more. Maybe we will, because I know with the president, there's always going to be something more to talk about. But the last thing I want to get to in this segment before we move on to our interview with Brother Dawood Anyabwile and have him talk to us about Brother Man Comics is what happened last night at the Oscars. Now, I ain't one that cares. I really don't. Like last year when they did Oscars So White, I was annoyed because my fist was in the air because I'm like, all the movies that's out there, you mean to tell me you couldn't find nobody but white people to nominate for Academy Awards? Like, not that I need their validation in their award shows. I don't need anybody's validation at award shows, but I would like to be recognized. Having said that, Oscars So White last year was absolutely farcical, whereas this year I think they did a well to make up for that, with Viola Davis winning for Best Supporting Actress in Fences, and Mahershala Ali, is that the right way to say it?
I think so.
The brother, the first Muslim to win an Academy Award, won Best Supporting Actor in the Monster. I think it's not Monster. What am I thinking?
Moonlight.
Yeah, it was an M word. So that was awesome. That was really cool. He's the guy that was the kind of the tough guy in the Luke Cage Netflix series. I didn't finish it, but I remember seeing him and seeing the name. The name was odd, so I was like, word, this dude's kind of dope when I watched it. And also they're saying that Denzel got robbed by Casey Affleck, so now we owe him 2 Oscars, one for Malcolm X and one for Fences. It's unfortunate that he won for a movie called Training Day, which was kind of silly, but hey, I'll take the Oscar. Anyway, back to the original point last night. Warren Beatty walks out and he looks at the card and he looks at it and he sees that there's something not right on the card, and then he looks at Faye Dunaway, and before anything could happen, she jumped the boat and said La La Land, which
was wrong.
That's not who the one did that. Well, what ended up happening was Warren Beatty was sent out there with the wrong card. And while La La Land is up there accepting their award, their producer must have got wind, because it's the producer of La La Land, like the producer of the movie, must have got wind from the backstage that, nah, dude, y'all ain't win. And he's the one that broke in on the mic and was like, we didn't win. And he said, Moonlight, you guys won. Come on up here. This is not a joke. It's not a joke. And it was like a Steve Harvey moment. Was it the Miss America?
Yeah, Miss America.
When he said the same thing. Now, before we get into this, let me just tell you what that was like. When they got Moonlight, you guys won. Come on up here. You know what that was like? That was like that episode of Martin when he said, Gina, you've trapped me and da-da-da-da-da. I will marry you. Are you happy now? And Gina's looking at him like, how am I supposed to be excited about that kind of proposal? How was Moonlight supposed to be happy about winning that way? Now, they will forever be known as the best picture of 2017. You can't never take that away from them.
Never take it.
But they took their moment away, Joe.
I got you. They did.
Their moment.
They
What you
did.
think? I mean, they showed the camera zoomed in on the card as Warren Beatty walked out. He got the wrong card. Now I heard Kevin Frazier on with Stephen A. Smith earlier this afternoon talk about how it happened. Do you guys know how that happens?
It was the people who vetted. It was some clearinghouse.
Some clearinghouse. Here's how it happens. There's two sides of the stage, and you don't know where the presenters are coming.
Okay.
So there's two cards for every award, and one is put on either side of the stage. The preceding award was given to Best Supporting Actress, which was Emma Stone. And when it goes on the other side of the stage, it's supposed to be pulled from the other side of the stage. What did not happen was it did not get pulled, and so because Warren Beatty was the next one to come up from that side, he's the one that ended up getting that next
So he
envelope.
pulls it, but he
He was given it.
It was given.
It was given to him.
he gave it.
Warren Beatty did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. Nothing. He did nothing wrong.
But let me ask you this question. How does Steve Harvey feel at this moment?
I don't know.
Oh, I
That's
got you.
That's a good question.
Oh, you want to know how Steve Harvey felt?
I'd love to know. I have no idea.
Steve Harvey actually said,
So you got a tweet out there?
yo, he had a tweet. And the tweet is funny. I sit there and looked at it. He said, well, I went to sleep early last night. What happened? That's what Steve Harvey said in his tweet.
Yeah, I could dig it.
And then he goes on. I mean, he was on his morning show this morning, and he told the way he said it, he was like, Warren Beatty, give me a call because I'm the king of this, which means he was kind of making jokes and putting fun back on it, which is a good sport.
Yeah.
That's a real good sport. And it actually says, good morning, everybody. This was Steve Harvey. Good morning, everybody. Went to sleep early last night. So what I miss? Hashtag Oscars.
Yeah, you gotta be. You gotta joke. You gotta. It's all in good fun. But I'm gonna tell you something. That's a scandal because you know how serious they take these things.
Will he get death threats like Steve Harvey got?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Nah, Warren Beatty.
I don't think that. Honestly, I think that Warren Beatty was set up for failure, not maliciously. It was a simple mistake, and he got set up for that. I think Steve Harvey just made a personal mistake.
Yeah, that was just a mistake.
There's a difference between someone handing you the wrong card and you making a personal
It
mistake.
don't matter, but they gonna wing it around.
Of course.
Hey, you think they gonna have a show together? He gonna end up on Steve
Man,
Harvey's
how
show?
cool would that be?
That would be great.
How great would that be if they did something together?
I like Warren Beatty because he was Dick Tracy.
That was Dick Tracy, yeah. He was also Clyde Barrow, 1972,
We're telling your
73.
age.
Yeah.
He won't hear.
I wasn't here yet, but I
won't hear.
know the movie, him and Faye Dunaway. Actually, that's why
And Faye Dunaway. Yeah.
Wow, I just saw that in my head. That's why he was up there with Faye.
But
Wow.
it's crazy, man. I mean, you know what? To make that type of mistake, like you said, to bring it back to the point was you can never, ever bring that back to how Moonlight felt. But think about how idiotic, and I think of how stupid, I'm sorry, think of how stupid La La Land felt.
Oh, they was up there saying thank you
To their parents,
There's a lot of emotions running
Praising-
at the time.
praising
I'm happy.
God.
I'm happy for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting on top of the world.
yo, but then your producer walks up and pulls your coattail like,
Nah.
you
That's
didn't
kind of
win.
like your mama just told you got to go to bed.
Yeah.
in the middle of Rudolph.
And your friends are there. And she let your friends stay, but you gotta go to
You
bed.
gotta go to bed.
I hate all
I hate all y'all.
Get out my house.
Get out.
I'm peeing in everybody's bed.
Hell yeah. Ain't no half stepping.
I'm blaming it on
You
you.
know what I'm saying? Your best friend is 3 years older than you, so he gets to stay up late at a sleepover at your house, but you got to go to bed. That's crazy. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. We're going to take our first break. break of the night. And when we come back, we're going to talk to our brother, Dawood Anyabwile, Emmy Award winner, who is the creator and illustrator for Brother Man Comics. We're going to get a history lesson on how that all worked out. And then later, after that, we will hear from our sister, Beverly Johnson, who is the cousin of Alex Haley, as well as a descendant of Chicken George, as seen in the miniseries and book Roots. We got a lot of show tonight. We're happy that you're here with us. Marcus J, Big Bro Joe, and our brother Gene. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We'll be back in a few, y'all. Stay with us.
Is my mic on? Oh, okay. Legacy Internet Radio. It's your girl, the First Lady, comedianess, Lissa P. Ow, ow! Make sure you're tuned in to the #1 internet radio station around, Legacy Internet Radio. Be sure to check out our website at www.legacyinternetradio.com, or you can download the free TuneIn app. Go to the search, type in Legacy Internet Radio, and there you'll have us. Legacy Internet Radio, where independence is the key to building your legacy. Ow, ow! We gon'